Good morning. My name is Rizal van Jaarsveld. I'm the Business Development Manager for Biz Facility. Those of you know me from our training events, but we also sell tax software. Who knew? I'm also the Business Development Manager for Taxbox, and we cater for the small guy. You know, we don't want to compete with Caseware and GrapeSoft. This is not a CRM system. We want to provide a software solution for the tax practitioner that works on his own, on her own. Maybe you've got one or two tax administrators helping you. So this is really that type of program. Obviously, most tax practitioners work on Excel. Nothing wrong with that. But we are limited in the reporting we are able to provide to the client. So I think that's really what we want to achieve with this program. It's really great. It is to migrate from the old Excel process to a more automated program with great reports and calculators. So what is different with Taxplanner Cloud if we compare it to the desktop? Obviously, it's more modern. It's for online use, where the desktop is for offline use, unless you want to integrate with SARS e-filing, then you do need an internet connection. But also the desktop is only operational on Windows operating systems, where the Taxplanner Cloud is available for Mac users as well. All you need is an internet connection. So I also asked our technical team, what are the minimum requirements? Well, it can be used on any browser. It's not mobile friendly at this point, obviously, because the mobile screen is very small, and who wants to be preparing taxes on such a small screen? And then there's a minimum screen resolution of 1366 times 768, but there's no maximum, which is great. And of course, you are able to work simultaneously in the program, where on the desktop, it gives a little bit of issues when 2, 3, 4, 5 people want to work on the same tax client. Then what are some of the extra features? We now have additional user groups, and this is also great if you've got maybe more than one tax practitioner in a practice, and you still want the tax practitioner to oversee and authorize the taxpayers that is allocated or stored under that specific client group. Now, that's something that the desktop didn't have. You've got users, and all the users, basically, if you are working on a network, you can all see the same database, but if not, then everybody will have their own little program on their laptops or devices, and nobody can see what the other one is doing. Where now in the cloud, there's actually an audit trail that tracks, it's like I want to say like a snail. It tracks every little action that is made by every single user. And also you can decide if you want different client groups for different tax practitioners, or just different client groups for different users. And you can assign user rights. So that is obviously more modern, more up-to-date licensing, and that can manage your tax practice more efficiently. Okay, so that is from my side, my little intro that I wanted to share with you today. With me is Michelle Brishkumar. She is a tax administrator and a super user of this program for the FinSolve Group. And we only have an hour, so we want to highlight some of the awesome features that this program has. And obviously at the end, we are going to do a Q&A session whereby you are more than welcome to ask questions relating to the program. And of course, this recording will be available to you as well afterwards. And we've prepared a little slideshow for you that we will attach as well. So I'm just quickly going to switch off the video and switch seats with Michelle. She's going to open up the video and then just introduce herself so that you can see it's a real human presenting, not a robot. And then the presentation is going to begin. So I hope you enjoy. This is the new Taxplanner Cloud.
And welcome. My name is Michelle, and today I'll be taking you through a live demonstration of the new exciting Taxplanner software. I'm just going to go through a quick overview of what we'll be covering today. We'll begin with getting started with adding of a taxpayer and saving of information that's required. We'll also be going through the completing of the tax paid section, as well as capturing of financial information, where I'll take you through a few calculators and their reports, just to show you the lovely reports and all of the functions that's available within those calculators. I'll also be going through the SaaS Connect feature just to show you guys the interface and the user friendliness of this. All right. So like Rizal mentioned, there'll be time for questions at the end of the session. So I hope you enjoy. I'm just going to switch off my camera so I can show you guys my screen and we can go through that live demonstration. All right. Okay. So just a thumbs up to let me know if you guys can see my screen. It'll be the login page of our Taxplanner software. So as Rizal mentioned, once you have purchased your licenses, you will receive a link where you'll be asked to create a password and you're all set up. So once you come to the landing page, you'll enter in your username and your password, and we'll be logging in. All right. So this is the interface and the landing page of what you will see once you've logged in. Or you wouldn't see any clients. These are my clients that I've been working on. So the first thing you will need to do when you log in is select the year that you need to work on. Depending on the licenses that you have purchased and the years that you have purchased, you will have a list of a selection right here. So as you can see, I only have the 2025. So I'm going to click on the 2025 year. So I know which year I'm working on currently, and I'm ready to start adding my taxpayer and working from there. All right. I just want to point out this bright page, the landing page. It looks extremely user-friendly. It's easy to read. All right. So I hope you guys will appreciate that. I really do appreciate it. So starting with adding of a taxpayer. Now that we've selected the year that we want to work with, we're going to be adding in a taxpayer. All right. It says your landing page will say select a taxpayer on the left to continue. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll notice a red icon and a green icon. The red is there for purposes of deletion or deactivation of a client, and the green is to add a taxpayer. So I'm just going to quickly click on adding of a taxpayer. All right. So here you'll see that the taxpayer data sheet has opened up, where you will fill in all of the relevant information that you have. Now, there's 4 compulsory fields that need to be filled in when entering and saving a taxpayer data. All right. And I'm just going to show you guys that first. It will not save without this information. All right. So I'm just going to click on the save button, and you're going to see on the right that there's validation error pop-ups, and it tells us exactly what is needed. It's also highlighted on the page in front of you here. So we know that we cannot save a taxpayer without the name, the surname, the date of birth, as the age is very important for tax purposes, and the taxpayer reference number. So that will be the income tax number. So I'm just going to quickly enter in the information over here. Today we will be working with John Doe, and his initials are J, Mr. So that will be the basic information. The identification details, you'll add in your ID number or the taxpayer's ID number that you're working with, and you'll enter it there. You'll notice that the date of birth automatically pulls through with the identification number. If you only have a passport number, you will have to fill in this manually. All right. And then we need the income tax number of the taxpayer. So I'm just going to enter in the taxpayer's income tax number with SARS. All right, so that's nice and easy. It's demographic details, but very important to have, especially for tax purposes. So going over to the marital status of the client. All right, so it's extremely important to know the status of your taxpayer, especially if they're married, in or out of community of property is the big question. All right. So I know that John is married. So I'm just going to drop that down and select married. Is he married in community of property? I'm not sure. I'm going to send in an email while I work on his tax. And once he responds, I will update that should I need to. Okay. So going over, if you're working with a deceased individual, it's important that you click this button over here to indicate that the individual is deceased. It will then open up the deceased date box next to that, which is also very, very important of recording the date of death, all right? Because this is going to apportion your rebates and so forth. So I know that John is not a deceased individual at this point, and I'm going to untick that. So if your client is married in community of property, it's important to have the spouse's information, such as the ID number, the name, the surname, and the date of birth of your spouse. So I do not have any of this information. In fact, I don't have any other information over here. So I have the important details. So I'm good to go with that under the general info tab under tax paid. All right. So moving over to the contact information tab. Now, I do not have the details on hand of John, but you're more than welcome for each taxpayer to enter in the address and the postal address. So you'll see that there's a little tick button there, nice and easy. If the residential is the same as the postal. On the right-hand side, you may enter in the telephone numbers of your taxpayer, and we're good to go, as well as the email address. Okay, so I'm just going to browse through the rest of the tabs under taxpayer data. I'm not going to be filling in everything because we have the compulsory data that's needed to save this taxpayer. On the tax info button, there's assessment information. You can fill out your VAT reference number should the client be registered for VAT, as well as financial information. All right. You may also fill in the banking details of the client or the taxpayer, as well as the employer information on the next tab, which is just the employer name, the address, the business address, and the contact info. Now, this is not for purposes of your IRP5 or capturing. This is for purposes of information of your taxpayer. All right. Going on to the ITR return info. This is a nice little tool to have to record whether you've received the ITR 12, if it's been completed, if it's been submitted, and if the ITA 34 has been issued. All right, so you have a nice tool to record your dates for history of your client. All right, so below that, you'll see a help button. Should you not know what is compulsory to save or any guidance you need, you may just click on that, and there's a nice note over there for you to read and utilize. I'm just going to close that. And I'm now ready to save my taxpayer. So once I've saved, you'll notice a little green pop-up on the right-hand side of the screen that says successfully saved. All right.